Hello traders, welcome back to another live trading video. Real quick before I get into this video, what I mean by live is these are real trades that I'm taking on my account. I currently have one lot open to the long side here on NZD JPY. I'm looking for more upside here, and in this video what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be starting basically and recording a trade of mine. Because I am a swing trader, I'm not able to do it all in one recording, otherwise we'd be here for hours and hours and hours. But I will start and record this. It is real money, and I want to show you guys what it looks like to be a Forex trader, sort of doing the swing trade sort of style. So with that said, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to explain the trade. So I am long on NZD JPY. So as I mentioned, I basically liked the idea of going long here. You can see I ended up getting long right there, and then a little price went against me here, but I'm currently sitting in the trade, and it is the next morning, and I am back at my computer able to actually take or record this. I actually just got home from the beach, so I was away from my computer, but I wanted to pull this up before we get too far into it. So this is a trade alert that I shared with members inside of our private Discord. So I basically said I'm going long on NZD JPY here as price pulls back to the support zone. I like NZD quite a bit at this time due to the rumor of rate hikes, which we're going to talk about in a second. And additionally, I am bearish on the yen as risk sentiment seems to be taking control again. Some context in case you're watching at a later point. We just had some really good jobs numbers in the US, and things are looking really optimistic for market recovery across the world at this time. Now, New Zealand has also, there's been rumors and the potential here that we may see a rate hike sometime in August of 2021, which is the time of making this video. So there is that rumor going on. So I do like the idea of picking up NZD, especially after its recent sort of sell-off a little bit here on the daily chart. So then from a technical analysis perspective, I said price is breaking and retesting a major level and a key breakout on the daily chart, which I'm going to show you guys in just a second, from the descending channel we have seen in the last few weeks on this currency pair. Then I shared my entry, I shared my stop loss with members, and I'll explain why I have take profit as optional in just a second. But that is sort of what it looks like inside of the group in case you were wondering what the Discord is like. If you have interest in joining our Discord, seeing the trades that I have, you know, the community tab allows you to chat with other traders and meet people from around the world who are also trading and share ideas. We also do coaching webinars, etc., all sorts of stuff. If you have any interest in that, there is a link down below in the description. You sign up on our website and you can join the Discord there. Using that promo code, you'll get a discount of some amount. You'll have to check it out, but should knock off some of the price and make it easier for you to join. So with that said, looking at this setup, okay, I wanted to talk about that daily chart thing that I mentioned, right? So here's the daily chart. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and you can see we had this really strong bearish structure for the NZD JPY, and recently we've sort of seen a change in that tone. So what I mean by that is you've had these sell-offs every time price tries to get back up, right? And then we sort of saw the shift in that where you now see a little bit of bulls stepping in and pushing price higher. What I'm looking for here is a shallow retracement before a strong rally. If this thing is going to go higher and wants to move higher, then great. I'd love to stay on for the ride, but I don't want to hold on to this thing in case it really rolls over and looks like it's heading back down to the lows to maybe continue this overall downward trend on the daily chart. Now, if you zoom out long enough, this thing actually is in sort of a upward trend. If you look at the 200-day moving average, we are actually holding that 200-day above. So this to me has a bullish bias. So overall, longer term, I think that the NZD JPY has a strong chance of continuing higher at some point or another here. And so I'm looking to try and get involved with that, especially with that rumor, like I mentioned, to the upside with NZD pairs potentially, or the RBNZ, right? Talking about potential rate hikes. I like that as a potential catalyst for upside on the NZD pairs, and I like it against the yen quite a bit. So from a technical analysis perspective, we'll head back to the 4-hour chart. We saw this thing recently. So we've been seeing higher lows, nice little round off here before a breakout above previous resistance right here. So price hesitated, but then finally was able to get above. And this was sort of the signal to me to look for opportunities to enter on a retest, right? So I like this thing to the long overall, long bias overall. I told you guys, right, the fundamental analysis perspective and that daily chart breakout to the upside that also got retested here. So everything looked good there. Price broke out and now retesting now. So I am currently in the trade. It is just slightly better than break even. I have a one lot position open on NZD JPY, and the worst case scenario is the stop loss placement here, which is just below the previous low. If price does move down there, I will get stopped out. And you can see so far it's held me in the trade pretty nicely. So my stop loss almost got tagged, but we saw it come right back up before it was able to do so. So the reason I point that out is because sometimes people get stopped out just before it reverses, and other times your stop loss is in a good enough spot that it keeps you in the trade without getting you stopped out. See, I was very close, it was by a narrow margin, but ultimately reversed back and now looking decent for the trade. So what I would love to see is I'd love to see price make its way up to here. If it does make its way up to there, you might say, well, Nick, are you going to take profit? And that was the other question mark that you may have had about my trade. Why don't you have a take profit? I like to trail stops. So what that means is I like to let trades go in my favor if they want to, and then I like to move that stop loss and let it continue, right? Again, I am a trend follower. I've talked about that many times on my channel. My ultimate goal is to ride winners. And so if it wants to keep winning, then I will absolutely continue to trail stops and let this one become a big winner if it wants to. Right? That may not be the case. Oftentimes, actually, most of my trades result in sort of a small loss or a break-even trade, and then every once in a while, I'll catch a real good runner. We'll see if that happens here. With that said, I'm going to pause the video and we'll come back once it is updated. Okay, guys, so I have moved my stop loss up, locking in here a little bit on the trade. Not a whole lot. I'll just mark this so I am locking in just like 6 pips on the trade, so nothing huge. But I wanted to clarify exactly why I am doing this. So if you remember, I went long right here, had my stop somewhere here, and just moved my stop loss slightly into profit. So the worst case scenario at this point is that price comes back down, crashing from this level here, and tags me out for a small win. So not the worst case scenario by any means. So I'm happy with where I'm at. Now, why am I moving stop loss up to this current level, and why am I not just taking profit here? A lot of people might have the question, Nick, you're at resistance, just go ahead and take the profit right now. And I understand that. And if the next thing that happens is we see this massive correction on the market, then I'm sure in hindsight, definitely I should have done that, obviously. But that's not my sort of style of trading. My style of trading is to not take profit preemptively, but rather to let this thing really run if it chooses to do so. However, I still want to respect the level of resistance that we see here and here. We see price previously had a lot of trouble pushing past this zone. And so I do want to say, hey, well, you know what? I'm respecting that. I recognize that it is possible that price could reverse, but again, hindsight is 20/20. If you're watching this video and this thing comes crashing all the way back down, then of course it's going to be, you should have taken profit here. But again, I want to give this chance the best potential to do a nice run. What if we get the same move that we saw here, right? Which I think is very possible. I would be leaving a ton of profit here on the table. And so my plan here is not to just take profit here, because there have been many instances where I say, well, yes, okay, I'll take profit at resistance. And then the real trend starts and I miss the great big win. For me, my style of trading relies on me holding on to something that is working and cutting off something that is not. So for me right now, this trade is working. I would like to hold on to this one. That is why my stop loss is locked in, just to secure, just in case, price does decide to reverse hard, I will be there to stop it out rather quickly. So that's the plan, is to see if this thing wants to break out. Ideally for me, the next stage would be a breakout here above price, and then some continuation. Should things start to continue, I will look to trail stops further and lock more profit in on this trade. So I'll pause it. We'll come back once things get going. All right, guys, NZD JPY decided to just launch off of a cliff here. I guess that doesn't really make sense. Launch off of a cliff upwards, which never mind. But NZD JPY is going well so far. We're up 625 bucks here, so not bad. Pretty happy with how this trade is playing out so far. Definitely seems like we found a pretty good bottom there, and so far so good. So where am I at with the trade? Well, I actually moved my stop loss here again up into more profit, locking things in at about 77.48. So the idea here being, I do want to start locking in, ratcheting up this trade, because there is the potential for this thing to pull back. And if it does pull back, I want to give it room. But if it decides to full on reverse, then go ahead and knock me out of the trade and I'll take my profit. So either ways, I'm in a very good spot here. I think worst case scenario, I make a couple $100 on the trade, which is fine by me, considering, it's not like I did a whole lot of work for this. I just clicked some buttons, did some analysis, and, played the patient game. So I'm very, very glad and not going to complain about a profit if it happens this way. But I do also want to give it the chance to potentially make a push higher. So let's do some chart marking up and let's talk about where we could see things going. So again, we'll mark out this area here, which is really where I don't want to see price go much underneath. I really want to see, if we're going to continue higher, I don't want to see price, break underneath that level. And so that's where I've got my stop loss. And that's the reasoning behind that. So if price does decide to keep going, however, if we continue to find buyers, we continue to find upward pressure, I think we have the potential, not necessarily a strong likelihood, but the potential for price to keep running up into major longer term levels of resistance, as it does seem like the buyers have taken control of this market. We can apply some moving averages. You can see we've got a little bit of a shift in the nature of this chart. You've got the moving averages starting to furl back the other direction. And if you look at this on the daily chart, you can see that the overall trend is still sort of intact. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this breakout here on that daily chart that we initially talked about to continue and to maybe run us up to our next spot, which I would say is about 78.5. That would be great if we see that. That would give us a fantastic trade and definitely plenty of profit to be had there. So that's the overall idea. Now back on the 4-hour chart, we'll get rid of some of those moving averages. And the idea here, like I said, is the next point of stop loss trailing will probably be somewhere around, here. If we are able to, make a breakout past the midpoint of that range, I'd probably look to start trailing that stop just a little bit more. Because as something does get a bit more extended, I understand that it has the potential to snap back and do a big reversal. And so I don't want to be, holding it. If I'm in major profit and I don't move my stop loss, if we do have a massive red candle reversal, I don't want to wipe out all the profit. I would rather step away with a good bit of that profit either ways. So this is a way for me to play, the best of both scenarios in my opinion, and this is why I've set my trading strategy the way I have. I am now looking for the next break of structure in order to really move my stop loss. Again, I should mark that we have some resistance there at 78. I would like to see price break above 78, and that is probably where I would trail that stop loss a bit more. So that's the plan. You guys will see it here. Whether it's, wherever it goes from here, I will be keeping you guys updated and uploading it to YouTube. So stay tuned. All right, guys, and we are all out of there on NZD JPY. That one lot position to the upside that I took ended up stopping out here for a profit of $291.93. Not bad. I'm happy with it. Of course, we were up a lot more money at a certain point, but that is the hindsight game. And of course, there's always a quote unquote better way to play it. People will always let me know what I should have done and could have done. But the thing is, when you're actually trading on the right side of the screen, it is much more difficult than when you are trading on the left hand and you already know what happened, right? Hindsight is 20/20, and it can be a little bit frustrating to deal with. However, I do see some more opportunities at the time of making this video, so I'm not really worked up about this. I am going to be taking my profit happily and glad to do so, because price does seem like it is continuing there to the downside there for the time being. So with that said, I am going to wrap up this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you would like to see all the trades that I'm taking in real time, I share them inside of our private Discord. This trade as well as all the other ones that I'm taking, good, bad, best, worst, all of them are shared inside of our Discord. So if you're not already in there and you would like to join and see the trades that I'm taking with full explanations, feel free to join down below in the description. There's also a promo code there for you to get a discount on the membership itself. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you back next time.